What's up, Bills fans? A lot of stuff going on with the Bills. Some I'm going to talk about, some I'm just going to, and you know what that some is because of things I say or might say or whatever. I don't want my channel taken down. So some of that stuff I'm just going to be like, but you know what it is. And let's just say I don't think it's going to divide this team. I think we've seen the tweets and posts from certain players, and I just think this team as a whole is unified. Any other Bills regime prior, I definitely think this would be a divisive issue from the management, the brass, all the way down to the coaching and player ranks. I just don't see it being an issue. They did a whole season and pulled it off very, very well. Were very successful. Did not have a lot of hiccups. I mean, the Tyler Croft, those were both false positives. His wife came out on Twitter and said that after the season. So I just don't think it's going to be an issue. I think they'll eventually get it squared away from a player, association and league standpoint, and get a little more streamlined and stuff. We still have, you know, over 2 months till the season kicks off, so I think things will sort themselves out as they usually do as the season draws near. But lots of Bills stuff. Bills are not going to St. John Fisher again for a second straight year because of the situation logistically, which is a big lift. I mean, the Bills going all the way to Rochester, and they have to bring a lot of stuff. They basically have to relocate almost half of their weight room, makeshift weight room, and bring it to St. John Fisher, and I always thought that was a big lift. The playing fields. I know the Bills helped them build some practice fields there because McDermott doesn't want them on turf and grass and in certain situations as much. I don't know. He talks about that, but I have to delve into his rationale behind that. Maybe just wear and tear on the players. But honestly, with the investment that they've made at One Bills Drive, from the whole facility. They bought more property around. Now we know why, but they're building more practice fields. I just feel much better that they're there. I really do. I think they're better prepared. They get better work in there with the facility, with the weight room, the rehab, and all that sort of stuff. They're able to just be together, in a more comfortable, familiar environment as opposed to being away, maybe getting more irritable, more crotchety. They're close to the stadium, so they don't have to, go back to St. John Fisher. It just, it's just logistically, and I just think they're just a lot more efficient staying at One Bills Drive. I think going away for camp is a yesteryear philosophy where guys really had to went away, get away from the family, and they basically had to work and play their way into shape because a lot of guys, it's not like now where football, is a full-time job. These guys had, jobs outside of football doing different things because they could not, live full-time off of what they made from football. So I'm fine with them staying at One Bills Drive. For, maybe, and I can understand it, Bills fans in that area will be upset because that's their chance to really get close to the team, see the guys, and those practices are free. Night practices are they're not that expensive. So it's really, really nice to get the access to the players. So I can understand why some fans there in that area would be upset. But from my point of view, I think it's better that they stay at One Bills Drive. But anyway, new stadium on the horizon, potentially, most likely, it's going to be in Orchard Park. Open air, not a dome, similar overhang to what Hard Rock has. I don't know why that would be, but I don't know if it's going to be inlaid like I still call it Rich Stadium, the Ralph, New Era, Highmark Stadium was once called Buffalo Bill Stadium. It was actually called Bill Stadium twice last year, and I think in '98 it was called Buffalo Bill Stadium. But it's inlaid. I think it's like 50 feet inlaid, and the wind really does crazy things there. I've never been there, so you guys who have been there can tell me what the wind is like. Is it like that everywhere in Orchard Park, or in that part of Buffalo? It's more South Buffalo. Is it always like that there, or is it that just unique to there? I'd love to know how that translates. But the fact that it's open doesn't bother me as much. I mean, there's a lot of people who want a dome for obvious reasons, but for me, just I really think you see teams not want to be there. The Dolphins, once they went down by 14 points, that was pretty cold that day. And I've seen many of teams come there, particularly in the past, not so much recently, but in the past, and they get down in a game or in a close one. It's just that weather does play a factor. It plays a factor in the kicking game. It plays a factor on the players psychologically late in games. And I think the Bills, you see Isaiah McKenzie walking around in like these little shorts. I think they kind of just embrace it. You see them at practice playing in the snow. They just, even though a lot of these players are from the South, I think they get used to it and they like it. But it was really nice to see the guys running around out there. Um, the white face mask, again, I've said it looks amazing on the white helmet and the blue jersey. I think that they mesh really, really well together. It really makes the uni pop. I didn't think I'd like the white face mask full time, but I really do. I think it just that one little tweak really makes the uniform look nice. A lot of Basham, a lot of Rousseau. Starr was a big focal point, mainly with his workout videos that you saw the work he was putting in with his coach back in Utah, and he looks really, really good. He even said he lost some weight, but he's probably going to put on some for the season. You know, but he looks really, really good. Looks lean. Looks fast. He's got a year of not having any wear and tear off his body. I'm sure he has to reacclimate to the physicality, but I don't think that'll be too hard for him because it's kind of like, the muscle memory riding a bike. You just do it a couple of times, once and then it's like you wake right back up again. But it's going to be a nice addition to have him back in the middle, allowing the rest of the guys around him to play a lot freer, particularly the linebackers and Ed Oliver beside him. So that's really, really nice. You got to see him engage a lot more with the media. It's something that we haven't seen as Bills fans. You can see why his teammates like him so much. He's a lot more of an engaging, bigger personality guy than would like to than we've seen, and it was really good to see. But overall, no injuries. They cut the camp a day short. Brian Cox Jr. I think he might be hurt a little bit long term. He was more of a depth guy. I don't think he was likely to make the roster. Most likely maybe a practice squad guy. But with the numbers that they've added on the defensive line, particularly the end where he plays, I just didn't. You know, I think he would have been it would have been almost a virtual impossibility, sans an injury or even multiple injuries for him to make the roster. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. The big, obviously on a Thursday, Friday with Cole Beasley, that was the thing, and people are going to have their opinions one way or another. I'll just say this: I respect him. I respect him for having the guts and the testicular fortitude to come out and say what he said, because there's a lot of people I'm sure that are being silent or they don't feel like they're in a position to say certain things, and I respect somebody who states their opinion, no matter which way it goes. If you're for or against, I think we're in such a place in society now. It's like it's like if we disagree, we automatically have to hate each other, and I think that's wrong. I think if we disagree, we just disagree. Doesn't mean we have to hate each other or treat each other like crap. But anyway, guys, I wanted to make this one a short and sweet one. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the new stadium, staying back home for training camp again, which I like. I'm sure one or two of the where they do a blue and white scrimmage will be available to the public. That'll be interesting to see how that works. What the availability is for that, and when they'll do one, because I'm sure they release that information to like season ticket holders and stuff, and then eventually gets out, or they just release it. Other than that, have a good one, Bills fans. Good rest of the week. Almost in July, season's fast approaching, so have a good one, guys. Always go Bills.